Okay guys, take 2 of this video because my husband kept calling and messing up the last one. I had I don't know, it was like 20-minute video full of info and only 3 minutes saved because he kept calling every couple minutes. So annoying. Anyway, what I was talking about in the video that I was trying to make was some information I might have left out about the Swift Academy. I know it jumps. I had 2 videos that I had, or 3, that I had taken off my account because some of the people I mentioned got offended. Well, now I'm not at school, so I don't give a shit. Sorry guys, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, sorry for the language. I put them back because it had really useful information, and I don't think it's fair to leave it out just because some little tidbits I mentioned, and I'm not even using names, but some little tidbits I mentioned, people got offended, so I put them back. And I had also left out, because I jumped from week 3 straight to me getting my CDL, so I left out kind of like the in-between information, so I'm making this video for anybody that might have questions. What I was saying, what happened with me, okay, I had explained the whole thing. What happened with me was, and I think I mentioned it in other videos, when I was doing my maneuvers, the first eval I took, those first 2 evals are really important because you can get thrown out because of those evals. I have a couple friends who did. What happened with me was my maneuvers eval, the first one I took, I got to the parallel part, and he said I had the prettiest straight back and the prettiest offset, and when it got to my parallel, I had so many people helping me all the time. Every time I did it, there was somebody there helping me and directing me that I never learned how to actually do it. So when I got to the part of the parallel where you have to straight back into the box, I did not know what to do after that. I had no clue. I had no idea what I was looking for or anything. So I failed. And the instructor showed me what to do one last time. And I'm one of those people, I'm really good under pressure. And it took that for me to understand it. And so once he explained it to me, after that I was getting it every time. So the next day I was so confident, I was overly confident. And what happened was when I backed my steer tires in, well, it's not really your steer tires. What is it? Actually, it's my axle tires. When I backed my axle tires in and I get them, and you get them straight in the middle of the box, I was short maybe like, I don't know, it was just about 3 feet what I was short. Now 3 feet counts a lot with that big ass truck. So what happened was, I know, I don't know if anybody else does, but I know that all of those tires are 10 feet around. From point A to point B, or point A back to point A, right? It is 10 feet each tire. So what I do is when I'm short, I'll count the seconds. I'll count the feet as seconds. Like if I'm 3 feet short, I'll count 3 seconds. And that'll get me where I need, or at least that area. So what I did that day of my second eval was I overcounted, wanting to make sure I really got in there. Well, I overcounted and I overshot. And I didn't get out and look again to make sure that I was straight. So when I was bringing in my tractor straight into the box, I saw my axle tires hitting the yellow line. So what happens is your axle tires, there's a front set and a back set. Now if you see the front set hitting that yellow line, the back's already on the concrete, that's an automatic fail. So that's what happened with me. That was on a Thursday because that's when they do the retest. Friday I spent with the new class. I was the one showing them the maneuvers. They had me doing the, I don't know, I can't think of the word right now at this moment. The presentation, I guess you could say. Anyways, they had me showing them. And, so Friday I was with the new class. Saturday and Sunday they said I had the option of going if I wanted to practice. I didn't because I had gone every day for 2 straight weeks and I wanted a break. So I took the weekend off. I went back on Monday, tested out in the morning. So I was on probation. Everybody gets probation period. It's only one time. You only get one time 1 week. I used it on my maneuvers and it was pretty pointless because the only time I really spent on probation was Friday because I tested out Monday. And you're on probation all the way until Thursday when your class catches up and tests out. Everybody should be tested out by Thursday. So it was a waste of a probation period. That's what happened to me with that. So I spent my whole probation period pretty much just helping other students and giving them drive time, which I think kind of annoyed Mr. Charlie because I kept trying to stay under the tarp because shit, it's hot. I don't want to be out there if I don't have to. I was already done. But anyway, Mr. Charlie, he's really sweet. He's awesome. So anyway, then after that, everybody tested out and they put me with a road instructor. I don't know if I mentioned it in my videos, but what happened to me with my road instructor was, he was one of those that critiques and it's not constructive, and he offers no help. For instance, all he tells you is, no, you're doing it wrong. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You're doing it again? Why are you doing that? I already told you. Why are you still doing it? And that's all he says. There was no words of encouragement. There was no, oh, you're doing this right, you're doing that right. Just fix this and fix that and no. There was none of that. None. Absolutely none. So he kept us on the shifting pad Friday. We had Saturday and Sunday off. We went back Monday. Spent half a day on the shifting pad, half a day on the road. And at first, I mean, he liked how I shifted. I did good with the shifting. It was when we hit the road that he said I was horrible. Now, what happens with me is I am, I guess you can say I'm a ditz. I call myself a ditz. You can't have me assume how to do something, because I won't assume. You have to tell me straight out. If not, I don't know what you're supposed to think I know. So, that you're supposed to think I know to just drive and you tell me where to go, I don't know that. Especially when I'm on the shifting pad and you're telling me shift, 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 shift. Okay, I'm thinking you're still going to be telling me what to do. So you can't just assume I know that you're not going to be telling me anymore. And so that's what made me really horrible. So anyway, Monday came. We got off the shifting pad, right? That first part of the morning. And we got to the road. As soon as I got in the seat, before I even hit the road, he would just drape his seatbelt over himself. He wouldn't actually click it in. I was the only one he clicked it in for, and he said I was going to kill everybody. He said if he was scared, he's sure the people in the back were terrified. Those were my words of encouragement before the first time I even hit the regular road, like towns. So the whole time I would be driving, I kept thinking I was going to kill everybody, and I was going to die, and I was going to die in a truck. That's how I was going to die. That's what I kept thinking. I stayed with him Monday, and I stayed with him Tuesday. After Tuesday, of him still continuing to tell me that I was going to kill everybody, I couldn't stay with him anymore. I couldn't do it, because if I have myself thinking I'm going to kill everybody, I will kill everybody, I'm pretty sure. And I was not trying to die in a truck. I have 4 kids at home. I am not trying to die. So what happened was I went back on Wednesday, and there's a female instructor. She's Mr. Charlie's wife. And I asked her if I could switch with her. And she said I had to ask Mr. Mark. He's second in command of the academy. I had to ask Mr. Mark, and I can't remember the main guy's name, but I had to talk to them and see if they'd let me switch. So I talked to them, and I'm not one of those to complain about somebody because, you know, that's their income. So I didn't say it was because of the instructor that I wanted to switch. I said it was because I was uncomfortable being the only female in a truck full of males. I grew up with boys. I was not uncomfortable. I could take it as well as you can give it. However, you telling me that I'm going to die? Yeah, I'm not going to sit there in a truck for somebody to be telling me the whole time that I'm going to kill you, especially when I'm trying to get my license. I need you to instruct me how to get my license, not to tell me that I'm going to kill everybody, because that does not help me. So I was so frazzled by the time I got to her. It was horrible. Horrible. And, I mean, you just had to be in the truck to know how bad it was. So what happened was she gave me a pep talk. She talked to Mr. Charlie. And Mr. Charlie is just so sweet. I admire him so much. He's so patient. And he could tell you something 20 million times, and by the 20 millionth time, he'll say it the same way he told you the first time. He has endless patience, endless. If he sees that you want to be there and you're working hard, he will make sure to help you. Now, he gave me the sweetest pep talk that he knew I could do it. He had seen how hard I work. Don't give up. You could do it. I believe in you. You know, Zach, that man doesn't know, sorry, I shouldn't have said his name. That man doesn't know anything he's talking about, and blah, blah, blah. And so that's what happened. He gave me a pep talk. And so then we went to, Mr. Mark, the second in command, who also gave me my CDL test, also gave me a pep talk, and it was pretty much the same thing, that he believed in me and he knew I could do it, and he had seen how hard I work and don't give up and I could do it. And you know, they know I know how to drive. It's like driving a car, and you know, all that good stuff they kept telling me. And I mean, it was just so nice. I wish I had recordings of those pep talks. It was just so sweet, and it made me want to cry. I mean, it just meant so much to me that they believed in me when I felt so low about myself at the time. That was just a complete 180 after that. I really surprised Miss Diana. So anyway, what happened after that was crap. Okay, so the way that it works is you get your evals every Thursday. So I was only with Dana Wednesday and Thursday. No, you get your evals for your road test on Friday. No, I'm sorry. You get your evals every Thursday and your road test is on Friday. So I was with Dana Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday I messed up my eval because I was 10 feet away from the railroad track, and Miss Janetta wanted us in 5th gear to go over the track. So I was 10 feet away, and I was trying to get down from, I think I was like in 7th gear or something, and I was trying to get down to 5th, and what happened was a couple feet away, my gear got stuck. I couldn't get it in. And so I was trying, you can't shift over a railroad crossing, and you can't coast, because both of those are automatic fails. Coasting is when you're in neutral and driving. So I was freaking out, and I couldn't get it in, so she ended up having to put it in gear for me. That's an automatic fail when they have to reach over and help you. When you're testing anyway. So I failed my eval. Now, what happens if you fail your road test eval, the first one? Your instructor gives you the first one. If you fail it, you re-eval with a different instructor than the one who showed you. I didn't get to have my re-eval because everybody was busy re-evaling other students. And so I only had the first one. Now those evals are good because they give you confidence, but to me they don't actually matter because they're still going to give you your CDL test, pass or fail. So I did my eval test on Thursday, failed, and Friday I came in not knowing if I was going to test at all. I was so discouraged. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I asked Mr. Mark because I was set to road test with him, and I think my road test was set for 8 o'clock or 8:30. I think it was 8:30. It said for 8:30, bright and early. So I asked him if I was still doing my road test, and he said yes, I was. So, you know, at least in Corsicana, don't worry about your eval for the road test. You're still going to do your CDL test. Now, what I was worried about at that point was my maneuvers, because I hadn't done my maneuvers since the week before with Mr. Charlie. Because with my first instructor, he was going to have us practice on the blacktop on Thursday. But since I had switched on Wednesday, I didn't get to practice because Miss Diana had already had her students practice. So I didn't get to practice at all. Now, if you know what you're doing, which after 2 weeks of doing maneuvers you should, but if you know what you're doing, that shouldn't matter. Now, when I was doing my maneuvers, I don't know if the Corsicana still looks like that, because when I left, they had filled in all the potholes. But when I was there, the whole lanes, I mean, every lane was riddled with potholes. And I'm not talking one, and I'm not talking a small one. It was huge. Huge potholes the size of a small child's. And it was about 4 in each lane, at least. Now, if you're lucky, you got one with maybe one in the front and one in the back, or one in the middle and one in the back, if you're lucky. But that's what I practiced on. So it's completely different terrain than a flat blacktop. So I was really nervous. I know a lot of people messed up their maneuvers, their first test. What happens with your road test, you get 3 tries. It's like when you're doing your driving written test. You get 3 tries for each thing. After your 3rd try, that's it. You have to start from scratch. I don't know if the school actually makes you do that, but if you're at a DMV, that's what happens. 3 tries for your maneuvers, 3 tries for your air brakes, 3 tries for your driving. So I was nervous because I hadn't gotten to practice. Now I got to my maneuvers. First they did your air brakes and your pre-trip, then air brakes. Got that. I was good. I pre-tripped the trailer and the uncoupling system. I knew it. From there, I did my air brakes. I knew it. I mean, of course, I have a video up here. I knew it. From there, I did my maneuvers. Did my straight back. I was kind of thrown off because the lines, there was like 2 lines. I don't know. I was just thrown off. I was completely thrown off. But I did it. I took my time doing it, and I got it. I went to do my offset, and it was funny because each time when I finished my offset and I finished my parallel, Mr. Mark just made a face like, I almost fell asleep back here, ma'am, waiting for you. And it was funny because I know he's joking. And I told him, it's okay, sir, you fall asleep. I'm going to be here doing my maneuvers, getting it right while you're sleeping. And it was just funny. So yeah, apparently that's how long I took. You have 2 hours, by the way, for your road test to go from pre-trip to road test. You have 2 hours. Whether or not you take the 2 whole hours, that's different, but you do have 2 hours to do the whole thing. Now, let's see. What else was I going to tell you guys? So, I finished my maneuvers. I got it, of course. And I got to the part of the driving. Sorry, I pulled on my ring. I got to the part of the driving. Now, if you're in the Corsicana area, doing the Swift Academy over there, you know that there's, and you're doing the road test part, you know that there's 2 areas where it's really easy to go over the curb or to hit the curb. They're both by the hotel. Now, those 2 areas, what you can do, at least what I did, is you can overshoot your turn, and it'll just be a point, as opposed to hitting a curb or going over the curb and completely failing, because it's an automatic fail if you hit or go over a curb. So I took my point at those 2 spots. And what I messed up on my first road test was I continued to overshoot every turn. And so when I got to that last turn, when you're on your way back to the academy, when I got to that last turn, it's under a bridge. And there's plenty of room under there. There was no reason for me to overturn. But what I did was I overturned. So my tractor went left. And I overturned so much, my trailer went right. And I completely went over that curb. I didn't just hit it. I ran it the hell over. So that's what happened. That's how I failed. And so I ended up retesting. When did I retest? I took my test on Friday and I retested on Monday. So that's when I retested, and of course I passed because I'm here at orientation. But I just wanted to let you guys know my story so you guys could know, don't get discouraged if you mess up. Look at how horrible I had it, and I am still here at orientation. I passed my 2nd road test, and, don't get discouraged, guys, if it takes you a try or 2 tries or whatever, because you do have 3 tries for that road test. Now, I don't know exactly how it works if you haven't had probation and you failed it 3 times. I believe I don't know if you only get 2 tries, and then they put you on probation for a week before they give you that 3rd try. I think that's how it works, but I'm not sure. You know what? I didn't even road test on Monday. I road tested on Tuesday, because on Monday I went out with Charlie's brother, Mr. Danny, on a practice run with some other people that had failed the road test. And so Monday we practiced, and then Tuesday I road tested. So that's what happened. Friday was my road test. I failed. Had the weekend off. Monday I practiced, and Tuesday I tested out, and I passed my CDL test with Mr. Mark again. I didn't do as good at that time, but hey, I passed. I got it. It doesn't have to be pretty. You just have to do it. Now, there was a girl. It was super funny. The whole joke was with her, it doesn't have to be pretty. You just have to get it in the box, because Mark would always tell her how ugly her maneuvers were, and we'd all laugh because she would say, hey, it doesn't have to be pretty. I just have to get it in there, because it's right. I mean, she's right. I mean, it'd be nice if it was pretty, but you just have to get it in there. You just have to pass. It's once you have your CDL test and you're at an actual orientation, you know, with your mentor and whatever, that they will teach you how to pretty it up. Just get it. Just get it right, okay, guys? Don't worry about doing it perfect. Just do it, and do it with the correct amount of tries that you get. Now, what I would do, I don't know if you guys want to try this, but what I would do is each move that I made, I would pretend that I was testing, so that I would make sure I didn't take too many moves or too many get out and looks, too many, you know, go ups and whatever. I practiced like I was testing. So I would actually count everything I did to make sure that I didn't go over my points, because you have 2 get out and looks for your offset and 2 pull-ups, and then you have 3 extra points you could use for either one. If you run over a cone, it's an automatic fail. If you hit a cone, it's just a point. So remember that. Now with the parallel, you still have 2 get out and looks and 2 pull-ups, but you have 4 extra points to use. So just keep that in mind when you're doing each one, and like I said, count it and do it like you're testing, and that'll help you guys out a lot. Trust me, it does help. And I gave everybody that advice, and whoever listened, you know, they passed their maneuvers, and whoever didn't count them and didn't practice like they were testing, took them a couple tries. So just keep that in mind. Always practice like you're testing. It'll really help you out. And don't be afraid to get out and look. It's better to make sure that you have it right than to just assume and fail, okay? That was my problem the first time I evaled with Mr. Charlie. I didn't want to get my ass out of that seat, but you know what? You get out and you look. Just pass. Get out and look. Also, don't be afraid to pull up, because it's better to use a pull-up and a get out and look than to completely fail, okay? Don't be afraid to take a point. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like that girl says, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be right. So I just want you guys to remember that, okay? I think I gave you guys all the information I could on the road test. You know, you don't have to pass the eval. You still road test.